Hi everyone, my name is Salva and my teammate's name is Anita. We have chosen to present on developing giftedness for our CUIN 6349 final presentation. Here's a quick agenda on the topics that we are going to be covering. I'm going to start off with a quick summary of Chapter 2 from Barbara Clark's book, as well as an introduction to other articles on this topic of developing giftedness. I'm going to continue talking about ways that the development of giftedness can impact students and their education. Anita is going to talk about appropriate ways of how parents can help teachers develop giftedness as well as developing giftedness at home. And we're both going to end with how we can help develop giftedness in our schools as our respective roles. Let's talk about what it means to develop giftedness. We have all learned about the gifted brain, where neural connections have become integrated, have become made more quickly, and have become far more complex. A gifted brain is not born that way. It becomes gifted through various environmental conditions. Clark, in her 2013 book, states that an environment that is confining or lacking in intellectual challenges and support limits the growth of the brain. Conversely, an environment that includes lots of intellectual challenges develops giftedness. Some of the factors that Clark suggests to develop giftedness are to give lots of opportunities to students early on in order to develop abilities as well as encourage students. Also, guidance and instruction can also help in developing giftedness. Parents of children can develop giftedness in them by creating an open communication that is available from birth on, setting aside a special time for each child to have to himself or herself, permitting children their own individuality, and respecting their children. There are many more things that parents can do as suggested by Clark on page 45. Parents should educate themselves on how giftedness can be expressed by cognitive, affective, physical, and intuitive functions in order to be aware of their children's potential. For example, if a child is showing high level of verbal ability, parents can work with them by letting them share ideas verbally in depth. Parents or early caregivers of children can do several activities in order to create a responsive learning environment for early learning. Some examples are responding to infants' activities and signals, as well as providing them with a variety of sounds and speech patterns. Al-Shabahed, Abbas, and Ismail suggest in their 2011 article that environment plays an essential role in giving the gifted opportunities to manifest their potentials. The authors study environment at two levels, micro level and macro level. Micro level environment for children involves family, close peers, and adults who shape their personalities. Macro level environment includes the larger society. The authors argue that the availability of supportive environment provided by direct family at the micro level promotes higher analytical abilities, therefore promoting giftedness in children. In her 2004 article, Haynes-Lee also writes about the importance of parents in developing gifted students. She emphasizes that extracurricular activities contribute to gaining skills, knowledge, and support beyond that which is available in school courses, and these extracurricular activities have to be driven by parents themselves. Again, this article explains the important role of parents in developing giftedness. Hughes and Rollins also write about how parents can work with their child's educators in order to meet high-level needs of students. The authors of the 2009 article argue that parents have a lot to contribute in understanding their child's learning abilities because they are aware of their strengths and interests. Now let's talk about how developing giftedness can impact students and their education. When parents, teachers, and educators are consciously trying to develop cognitive and other abilities in their students, they are positively impacted in return. Creating a responsive learning environment for students means that they are able to achieve their intellectual potential in a healthy manner. Clark, in her 2013 book, defines a responsive learning environment as one that promotes optimal learning, is rich in experiences, and varied in materials and responds to a child's abilities, needs, and interests. Creating a healthy environment impacts students in a positive way and gives them lots of opportunities to achieve giftedness. Developing giftedness can impact a student's social emotional needs as well. Having too many high expectations or putting too much pressure, academic pressure on students can negatively impact students' social emotional health. However, there are many positive impacts of developing giftedness as well. When parents try to provide a stimulating and educational environment for students, their need for exploration gets fulfilled. For example, when parents provide educational toys to their children and when parents read to their children, the children enjoy these activities as well as learn from them. So this combines both play and learning. Developing giftedness also impacts students' education by enhancing critical thinking skills along with others. When parents encourage their children to ask questions and explore topics that interest them, they indirectly learn many skills that helps them throughout their education. Ever since the fetal period, development can be nurtured. Adults around gifted students should be aware of their actions because they can either have a positive or a negative impact on them. During the early childhood years, parents should encourage their children to explore, praise their accomplishments, help the practice, and expand their basic skills, protect them from disapproval, teasing, and punishment, as well as surround them with a rich, responsive language environment. These actions will help students all throughout their educational lives. The adolescence period is one of the most sensitive phases of our children's lives. Parents and teachers should carefully work with students in order to enhance giftedness as well as provide for their several sprouting needs at this stage. During this time, students want to achieve independence, discover one's identity as a person, establish personal and social values, and much more. Parents should work around these goals of adolescence in order to continue developing giftedness among them. Now, Anita is going to talk about appropriate ways of how parents can help teachers develop giftedness.
The next part of our presentation will address how parents can help teach. Parents also serve as important advocates for legislation and I will now discuss appropriate ways parents can develop giftedness in their children. The authoritative parenting style consistently produces children who are. I will now discuss how I can develop giftedness and my future role as a school psychologist.
So, how can I help in developing giftedness in students as a school coordinator at my school? First is to improve our gifted and talented education program. I can do this by helping gifted teachers learn the characteristics of gifted students, how to identify them, as well as obtain proper training in how to teach them. Second way of how I can develop giftedness in my school is by focusing on younger students. By training kindergarten and grade 1 or 2 teachers on ways giftedness can be developed, I can motivate them to transform their classrooms into stimulating environments for the gifted children. A third way of how I can help is by helping my teachers use the right amount of technology in their classrooms. Teachers can use a variety of resources, not just technology, but community resources such as libraries and museums in order to develop giftedness in their students. That concludes our presentation. Here is a list of references that we have used. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.